Hey guys, what's up? This is Nick Atkin on South China Morning Post in Hong Kong. And we got some breaking news for you. Normally, when I speak to Chatri, we do a longer conversation, but this is going to be a little bit shorter today, guys. But I'm just going to hand it straight to the One Championship CEO and chairman himself, Chatri, to tell us what happened in the review of Denice Zamboanga against Seo Hee after their controversial atomweight Grand Prix quarterfinal. Ham took a split decision, but then it went under a formal review on Sunday, and we've got the results now. So over to you, Chatri. What happened?
Sure. The 14 members of the official competition committee, which is made up of officials, external officials, and experts, as well as internal, former athletes and judges, and that's right, and executives, a combination of internal, external experts in the field, and the vote came in as 9-5 in favor of keeping the decision standing that Seo Hee Ham won the fight. And so the decision stands what happened on Friday. And Denice will now face Julia Mezzer-Barba in an alternate bout. Look, these things happen. And one of the things that we tried really hard is to, ensure fair play and integrity of, the competition. And so whenever things are kind of amiss, we, historically, I think a handful of times in the last 10 years have reviewed bouts. This one for me was less controversial, but Denice's team and Denice were pounding the table for a review. I personally had Denice winning the fight. It was a close fight. No matter what, it was a close fight. I had Denice winning on, cage control and takedowns and ground action. I do think that I can see why the judges scored for Ham. I mean, Ham did have the heavier, cleaner punches and did have the damage. Whereas, at the end of the fight, you could see that Denice's eye was banged up and her face was banged up. Not from the headbutt. I'm talking about from the punches. And Ham's face was completely clean. And as you know, with one, damage is, one of the highest criteria other than near finish. And the reason of the global MMA rule set is that it represents true martial arts, true fighting, instead of a quote unquote game, if you will. Like, other organizations might have a 10-point must system and you have a lot of lay and pray, last 10 seconds, go for a takedown and hug and hold. And so, that to me is not real martial arts. So that's why one has adopted the global MMA rules. And so that does cause confusion sometimes. But again, the results are what the results are. And 9-5 in favor of Seo Hee Ham with the split decision.
Can you tell us why you chose to review it? And was that your decision? What prompted it? Was it the outcry from the fans? And is there a normal process like this? What makes you say, all right, we're going to review this fight?
Right. So typically what happens is, if there's any controversial fights, we will review it anyways internally. So we review all the fights anyways. And the committee will then decide, obviously, if there is a really vocal rationale. So, for example, I don't know if you remember, I think the last review was a couple of years ago with Georgia Petrosian and Pet Murkot, where there's a lot of fouls, right? In kickboxing, you're not allowed to clinch and knee like in Muay Thai. And the referee did not do his job that night. So that one was kind of more clear cut. This one, I would say it was a controversial decision, but in many ways, it wasn't controversial. It was a very close fight. It could have gone either way. We're always trying to strive for, ensuring fair play and integrity of our competition. And so it's just one of these things that from time to time we will review about. I'll give you one example. Christian Lee, when he had the DQ against him, I think it was against Edward Kelly when he suplexed and got DQ'd. Christian Lee's team did ask for a review. We did review it, and we stuck with the DQ, in which Christian lost the fight against Edward Kelly, right? So these things happen if, we'd rather not be at all involved, but at the same time, we also understand, the role of, or rather the rule of fair play and fair sportsmanship. And so whenever there are, and again, we've been very lucky in the last 10 years, over 1,000 or 1,200 matches, something like that. We've had maybe only a handful of times in which, there might have been an egregious error, or there were a real foul or something that would cause us to review it and then possibly rule it as a no contest. But in the case of Christian Lee versus Edward Kelly, that was the last one, I believe, for MMA. That one was ruled a DQ against Christian Lee.
And would Denice have gone into the semis? Do you know if she had if it had been overturned? Did you have a contingency plan? Were you racking your brain, like, how are we going to do this? Are we going to have a rematch or what? No, we didn't even cross that bridge because, again, what happened was it sent out these independent votes, and everyone gets the vote, review it, and then they submit their votes in, and then we just tally it. And so literally, half an hour ago, I got the call from our competition team that the vote was 9-5 in favor of Seo Hee Ham, and that was it. And then so it wasn't much of a thing. And then, look, we did feel, some of us did feel that, hey, man, Denice deserves, some sort of consolation prize for her performance. And the fact that, again, it was a super close fight. And I'm sure when she hears this news, she's going to be disappointed. But, the competition committee does its best to ensure, again, fair play. And so we've had decisions that have been ruled no contest, and we've upheld decisions. I think more times than not, we've upheld decisions. Maybe only twice, I think. I can't remember, twice or three times in the history of 10 years, right, that decision was ruled no contest when there was clear egregiousness or clear fouls at play. Yeah. And would Denice have got some kind of win bonus if she had got overturned? Would you still give her some kind of bonus given how close it was? And, what's the process like that? Did you cross that bridge as well? No, it was never discussed at all. Yeah, it was literally, after the fight, we reviewed the fight, and a few of us really felt strongly that Denice had won. And a few of us felt that Seo had won. And so, it was, even internally at one, it was split. So then we said, okay, let's do a formal review. And obviously Denice's team did pound the table. So we did say, okay, we'll do a formal review, because we already had that kind of, we were split in terms of the judges and officials were split. And then also internally we were split. So it was like, okay, well, let's review it. And I think you like to keep the information pretty tight on who's actually on the committee. Is that right? You can't really reveal who makes up that panel? Yeah, it's 14 members, and it is officials and judges, as well as executives and former athletes. That's what I can say. And they just use the same process of applying the global rule set. They don't have any other kind of criteria. They're just reviewing the fight. Correct. And well, yeah. So Julie Mizababa, then she's going to take another alternate bout. Did she want to just protect her spot after she already beat May, or was she game to take on Denice? I don't know. I mean, this is literally what I got the call from. Oh yeah. And this is the result, and this is the course. I said, okay. I wasn't involved in it, so it was just it was I wasn't on. I mean, I'm running the company. I'm not focused on every little thing. I have other things I'm juggling right now. I figured you just knew everything. My bad. Okay, that's very interesting then. So I guess you don't know when it might take place, or maybe on the Revolution card, because I imagine you're going to do the semis now in late October. Is that right? Let me think about this. Yeah, I believe it's October 29th, if I'm not mistaken. But again, like I
I have so many events in my head, I can't get, sometimes I get them confused, and until they're announced, it's because things are always shuffling, right? So that's why I want to say it's end of October, yeah, and then the finals will be in December for our 1X show.
Yeah, because I figure you've got Revolution, then you've got the all kickboxing, all striking card. First strike is mid-October, right? So that makes sense, end of October?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and on that kickboxing card, yeah, could you just talk a little bit about that if you've got some time? What do you think of that event? Super exciting. You're going to crown an inaugural featherweight kickboxing champ, Giorgio Petrosian, against Superbon, and then the quarterfinals of another Grand Prix.
Yeah, I mean, October 15th is literally, the greatest striking card ever put in terms of level of talent. I mean, if you look, everyone on that card is a world champion of various organizations, multiple world champion. Every single athlete on that has multiple world titles from different organizations. It's kind of a scary card if you ask me, just the world's greatest strikers. And that was always part of the plan of One Super Series, eventually having its own standalone cards. And so I think it's something, this is a real treat. I mean, when I look back to the glory days of K1 Max, many years ago, this card is by far superior to anything that's ever been done in the history of kickboxing. You can, go to Europe or go to Japan, and you'll not find a more stacked card with more talent and more belts amongst all the competitors on that card.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. You also piqued a little bit of interest. I say a lot of interest, actually, when you said to me that, you have a surprise in store for Demetrius Johnson. And you mentioned there might be some creative Pride-style matchmaking on the 10th anniversary card. Have you got any more updates when you're going to be announcing these December matchups? A lot of people are interested.
I'm breaking that news next week on the with Ariel. So I promised Ariel Helwani that I'll break it with him. So I'm going to break that news next week, Wednesday night, our time here, and Wednesday morning in New York. So stay tuned. I'll be announcing the 1X date, and as well as 2 or 3 matchups. Not necessarily the main event, but I'll be announcing, the fun DJ fight that we have planned.
All right. Well, I had to try get it out of you, but it sounds like everyone's going to have to watch Ariel Helwani. So, thank you again, Chatri. I appreciate you giving me a bit of time here to break this news on South China Morning Post.
It's just one of these things. Like, when I look at it objectively, I still believe that Denice won, but I respect and I can see how the judges scored it for Ham, and he went to committee, and I was obviously wrong relative to the, in terms of the committee, and so it's just one of these things. But at the same time, I do feel like Denice was owed at least a fair due process, instead of it just hanging there. But at the same time, I think both Seo Hee Ham and Denice Zamboanga can be very proud of their performances on such a massive card like One Empower. And, I look forward to watching both their careers blossom. And, it really wouldn't surprise me next year if Denice faced Angela or Seo Hee Ham faced Angela, if both of them faced Angela at some point. I really feel like there's a lot of potential there of that matchup happening. Obviously, fans want to see that. But of course, Ham has to get through the semis and the finals of, these 4 semifinalists are just honestly super, super elite, world's best atomweights. And it's, I think Ham has a lot of, she's going to have to do phenomenal in order to get through the semis and then eventually win the thing. I'm not sure I would put her as the favorite anymore. After Denice's performance, it just shows you that even though Ham had a a legendary reputation, right, and a career, it's clear that our atomweight division is likely, above her level or at her level, and people were thinking that Seo Hee Ham was going to come in and, make a statement. And I think her next matchup is going to be very, very tough. I mean, I don't know who it is yet because the fans are voting, but it doesn't matter if it's Itsuki, if it's Stamp, or if it's Ritu. That's a long night for Seo Hee Ham. But it's a huge win for the fans.
Yeah, and if I could just ask quickly, what was the idea behind having the fans vote for the semis? Is that something you've been thinking about for a while? And when did that come into your head? Was it your decision?
No, it wasn't my decision. It was just one of the folks on our social media team. Said, "Hey, let's try to get the fans involved," and then it was like a split decision. We made it, I think, days before One Empower. It was the week of One Empower when it was finally decided, but the idea had been floating around, and then we just pulled the trigger maybe 4 or 5 days before the event. But I thought it was just, something fun for the fans to be able to vote and be able to control the destiny of a GP. I think that was, it was a cool idea.
Yeah, and you did mention Denice there. I just wanted to finish by asking, because Angela said she's still open to fighting Denice, defending the belt. Let's say if she wins against the Grand Prix winner, she'd happy to fight Denice. But she said Denice needs to win to make that happen. And as you've just revealed, Denice is going to fight Julie. But would that be enough for Denice to get the shot? Or, Angela suggested Denice maybe should fight Meng Bo. Would that work for you?
I haven't thought that far. Again, like I said, I was very impressed with both Seo Hee Ham and Denice. I'm huge fans of both athletes. And I think if I had to guess, educated guess, sitting from where I am today, I think Angela will end up fighting both of them at some point in her career. It's going to be a huge treat for the fans, right? But then I don't think fans should rule out the other semifinalists in this GP because it's not a given fact that Seo Hee Ham is going to be able to even pass the semis. It depends on who she fights in the semis, obviously. But even to win this thing, right? These four, the margin for error, the differential, I mean, they all have different strengths and weaknesses, but in terms of how close are they to each other in terms of level, I think these four are, it's a razor close thing. So it's going to be a nail biter semifinals. And it's going to be a nail biter finals. That's my opinion. Like, it's just going to be a barn burner of a fight for all four, for all the upcoming semifinals. So and the finals. So the three bouts remaining in the GP. It's just really hard to predict. The odds on this one. It's really hard. I think it's 50-50.